For me, I think sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is walk away from a situation that you know is not serving you, that you know is not sustainable, and most importantly, isn't right for your mental health. And I had to make that choice. And so I chose my mental health over a paycheck. And I'm okay with that. I think you should just ask yourself, is your mental health something that you can put a price tag on? And is it worth it? Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Icie and I'm so happy to have you here. So as you can tell by the format of this video, I am doing another Chats with Icie video, which I figured was fitting for this specific video that I want to film because I have a lot that I want to say. And as you guys know, my Chats with Icie series is really meant as a place for me to speak from the heart. I think of it more as a stream of consciousness rather than trying to have a script of what I am going to say. Let's just jump right into it. I have decided that I am actually resigning from my current job and I'm going to go back as a legal assistant. Yeah. So there was a lot that went into this decision, and I kind of debated also whether or not I wanted to share this online, because I think sometimes when you share public things about yourself, like your career, it opens up a place of judgment for people, like for people to criticize your decisions. Not that I've ever received negative feedback like that, but it's online and it's out there for everyone to judge and criticize and have their own opinions on. So earlier in December, you guys know that I shared the journey of getting a new job. I was really excited for that. In fact, I filmed a Chats with Icie video all about my new job and about why I made that decision. If you have been here for a while, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And to be honest, I really had the highest hopes for this job that I'm in. If you didn't know, I'm a resource manager currently for a deposition company, and it was a really good opportunity on paper. It was salaried, it was a huge pay raise, and it was a leadership role. So everything that I have ever wanted in a job or that I was working towards in the past year, I felt like this was just the next stepping stone. And so I ended up taking the job and leaving the law firm that I was at. I also did a video about my experience working in a law firm and some of the struggles I've had, but even when I left with really good terms, and I was always really happy with the management. Of course there were frustrations, and of course there were things that I didn't necessarily like all the time, but that's just normal in any job that you go to. You're gonna have disagreements, you're gonna have common frustrations, but overall, I was really happy with the management. So it was a difficult choice to even leave, but I knew that I had to take a chance on myself, and I knew that I needed to try out this opportunity. Now, fast forward 3 months later, and I can tell you now, I have never been so stressed out about a job, and I've been in stressful positions. In fact, you guys saw me struggle as a legal assistant in the beginning. I was very open about the days where I felt like I couldn't do it, my struggles with self-doubt and work anxiety and all of those things. And those were real. I definitely did feel that. But I never knew what it was like to be in a job where I woke up and felt miserable and felt like I could not sleep, or felt like I had to work 8, 9 hours a day without having lunch because I was just glued to my screen, and feeling that constant stress of last minute changes and people needing everything. And really for me, the turning point in this decision for myself was I really felt like I was kind of set up to fail, in the sense that when I was asking for support and asking for another person to help me with this role, I was basically told no. And that's the extent that I want to kind of get into it without bashing anyone. I always believe in being respectful to your employer and not saying any names, but that was a turning point for me, because I think if you have a job that's really stressful and you know it's stressful, and I was told that multiple times, that my position was really hard, that you had to have tough skin, and I understood that. but I was not prepared for the lack of resources and the lack of support, just people in general, to compensate for the fact that I was trying to basically do a job that I felt like could have very much been divided into 2 roles, or at least required 2 people. And I was told constantly that that's just the way it was. And I had very hard conversations with my parents on the phone, asking them for advice, asking them, what do I do? I just transitioned to this new job and I hate it. And that's the last thing you want to feel, when you're excited for a job and you leave a good company to go to a new one, the last thing that you want to feel is unhappy and that you made the wrong choice. And so I stuck it out. I stuck it out, for a month, 2 months, 3 months, because I was also told, this is new, what you're feeling is normal, but try it out and maybe it will change. And so I did that. I gave it an honest shot, and I could say right now, honestly, I feel so much better with my decision to go back as a legal assistant. I knew that I needed to get out of this job because it was making me mentally and physically ill, honestly. Like, mentally, I would go in, I would be so stressed out, and even though I was getting praised from my manager, and even though I was told that I was doing a good job, I didn't feel that way because I didn't feel a sense of purpose or connection with what I did. And I also felt like the rate that I was going at was so unsustainable because I wouldn't eat. There were several days, in fact, I would say a week, where I was not eating, like literally, like I would not take a proper lunch. And I was kind of given the impression that that was normalized, that that was okay, that that's just how it is. And then there was also the idea that if there was a last minute cancellation, I had to be available for that. So it felt like I literally couldn't get away from my job, and that even when I was off hours, I felt like I still had to be available for people in case something were to happen. And that causes a lot of anxiety. We spend the majority of our time at work. So if you're unhappy and then you're also dealing with the emotional stuff, which I've been dealing with a lot of emotional stuff behind the scenes that's not related to work at all, it's just a recipe for burnout. And I made that choice, and I contacted my old employer because I did leave in really good terms. And I thought that I would never do this. I was always someone who believed, like, don't look back. If you make a choice, don't regret it. Like, what's done is done. But this experience has really taught me a hard lesson in, number one, don't burn your bridges. You never know who you're going to kind of come across back in your life, or who's gonna end up, who you're gonna end up seeing again. And in this case, I reached out to my old employer, I explained them the situation, and they were kind enough to let me back for a new position. And I am going to be going back as a legal assistant with the employment law firm I worked for a different part. I was in onboarding before, and now I'm going to be in more of the filing and more of the medical records part. And I came back for a little bit more money because I negotiated that. And I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders, because even though I am taking a pay cut from the job that I have currently, and even though there's a little bit of financial anxiety because I'm thinking, okay, my expenses now are pretty high since I'm pretty much fully on my own. I'm not splitting anything. There is a little bit of anxiety in that, but I also feel like this choice is really what's right for me. And I just want to say this as well, that everyone handles stress and work stress, anxiety differently. Like, everyone is so different. Everyone has a different threshold for what they can manage and what they can handle. I just know that for myself in this job, I was literally miserable. And it's one thing to be stressed about a job that you really enjoy and you feel like the work is worth it, and you go in and you feel fulfilled and you have a purpose with what you do. But I just genuinely didn't enjoy what I was doing, and I was burning myself out, and I was stressed out. So it's like, even though I was making this good money for my age and my experience early in my career, I felt like I wasn't even fully enjoying that because I was so stressed out. And so it also taught me a really hard lesson in that money isn't everything. It's so cliche to say, but at least what I have found is that I need to feel a sense of connection with what I do. And yes, it's important to make sure your bills are paid, make sure that you are covering your essentials, because I definitely don't want to minimize financial stress or debt. Those things are very, very stressful, and you want to make sure that you can cover everything. But after that, it's also really important to at least somewhat enjoy what you're doing and not feel miserable at it. I guess that's the key, is you don't want to feel absolutely miserable, hating and not looking forward to it. And that's kind of very, you know, week after week, I started feeling that. I started feeling like the Sunday scaries, and I just could not get a break from it. So I made the decision to go back as a legal assistant. And you know, some people may see this as me taking a step backward. I don't know. But for me, I think sometimes the bravest thing that you can do is walk away from a situation that you know is not serving you, that you know is not sustainable, and most importantly, isn't right for your mental health. And I had to make that choice. And so I chose my mental health over a paycheck. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with making a little less money and maybe cutting back on some expenses in exchange for a job that gives me peace and that I actually quite enjoy. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about what this means for my channel, and also a little bit of why I have been so inconsistent lately. And you guys already know kind of the things that I've been struggling with behind the scenes: grief, a breakup, those kind of things. But also the reason I have been inconsistent, and also I've come to the realization that why these past few months have been made even more difficult, and why my healing journey I feel like has been delayed in a way, is because I've been in this job that has really mentally affected me and physically. It's really taken a toll on me. And so I feel like now that I can go back to a job that, of course, there's going to be stressors, especially when you're in the legal industry. That's just how it is. It can be a very fast-paced, demanding type of environment, but I'm okay with that because it's something I'm going to go back to, a position that I actually know and that I, for the most part, do enjoy doing, and I feel a sense of purpose with it. I feel like now I'm going to have more time to dedicate to YouTube because I'm actually going to feel inspired. My YouTube channel, I always say this, got its start from my legal assistant videos. The very first video that I would say went viral or that got a lot of views was my first day as a legal assistant. And that's how my YouTube journey really started, and how I was able to connect with so many different people. And so I feel like this, even for my YouTube channel, is the right move, because I know a lot of you guys are interested in my legal assistant journey, and I'm really excited to continue that and see where it goes, you know? And like I said before, I was dealing with so much emotional stuff, and then also trying to function in a job that was very mentally draining. And if you guys have ever been in that type of situation, you know that it takes a toll on you. It really does. And I didn't have an appetite for, like, I lost my appetite for, I would say, a solid month because I was so stressed out with everything going on. And I knew that I couldn't do that to myself anymore. So that's why I left. Thank you for being patient with me. I know that I haven't been the most consistent with YouTube, and I always say that I want to get back into it. But with this being the start of a new month, it's currently March 1st, and I'm actually hoping to edit this video and upload it tonight because I really want to get back into my Wednesday, Sunday uploading schedule. With this video kind of kicking off the start of the month, I want to make a promise to myself that I am going to really lean into my passions and what I love, and that involves creativity, whether it's with YouTube, my blog, writing. I feel such a strong urge to get back into that version of myself that was connected with my deepest passions and my deepest love for creating content that I'm proud of. And I want to do that. I want to do that as a promise to myself, and I also want to do that as a way to give back to you guys, because I know some of the things, it may not be for everyone, but I know at least one person can resonate with it, and that gives me a lot of happiness and fulfillment that these things that I talk about can help with someone. And finally, you know, I just want to say something that if you're in a situation and you're telling yourself, should I leave? You know, should I stay? I'm not gonna tell you what you should or shouldn't do, because whether it's a relationship or a job that you are questioning is the right thing for you, I think at the end of the day, you know what is right for you. You know in your core, and your intuition will tell you what is meant for you. It's just a matter of listening to that and tuning into that, and also being very honest with yourself and accepting, I may not be happy. It's hard to accept, you know, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm not happy with this situation and I actually want to leave. It's scary to confront that because it means changing your plans. It may mean confronting your insecurities. But when you finally make that choice and you kind of just let go of this expectation and trying to hold so tightly onto something, I can just say that things kind of fall into place. Everything else falls into place. So if you feel like you need to stay in a situation because you've invested so much time in it, or you feel like you're scared of the change that it could bring, or that if you can handle it, or something as superficial as making a little less money, like in my case, I'm gonna be making a little less money now, I think you should just ask yourself, is your mental health something that you can put a price tag on? And is it worth it? And I think if you ask yourself that question, and if you're really, really, truly honest with yourself, I don't think you can go wrong, and I think you're gonna find the answer that you're looking for. Anyway, with that said, this is a very chatty video. I am gonna try and edit this video, upload it, and I'm really, really excited to just finally get back into YouTube, because we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. And at the beginning of the year, I didn't want to put any pressure on numbers or analytics, but I think it would just be so, so cool if we could hit 1,000 this year, and I think we can do it. I think if I am just more consistent with it, and now I just feel a spark of inspiration now that I don't have the stress of being in a job that I'm miserable at, I think things are gonna, you know, things are gonna change and things are gonna take a positive turn. So thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and keep a lookout for new work vlogs. I am going to go back to what everyone most enjoys on my channel, which are my legal assistant vlogs. In fact, I'm gonna be filming that next week because I'm starting my new job. Not my new job, but you know, going back to my old job, but it's a new change, I guess you could say, in this period in my life, a positive change. So I am planning on filming that transition once again. But yeah, what can I say? It's just been a crazy 2023 so far, and I'm hoping that after this, I can find a sense of stability and consistency in my life, because that's really what I am craving for. And I think things will slowly get better. So with that said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening or day, wherever you're watching this, and I will see you very soon in another video.